Hello, everyone. Welcome back to All About English. We hope you're having a wonderful day.
Hi, everyone. We're so happy you're joining us for another English podcast.
Before we begin, if you enjoy learning English with us, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend who wants to improve their English too. Your support helps us create more free lessons and podcasts.
Thank you so much for being part of our community. Now, let's get started with today's conversation.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt like you're capable of so much more, but something keeps holding you back?
Maybe it's fear, maybe it's self-doubt, or maybe you've been waiting for the perfect moment to finally start working toward your dreams.
If that sounds familiar, you're definitely not alone. Almost everyone feels this way at some point in life.
But here's the good news. You don't need to completely change your life overnight. Sometimes one new idea or one small habit can make a huge difference over time.
In today's episode, we're going to talk about how to unlock your full potential, build better habits, overcome fear, and become the best version of yourself, all while improving your English through real conversation.
So, find a comfortable place, relax, and enjoy listening. We hope this conversation inspires you to take the first step toward becoming the person you want to be.
All right, let's begin. So, James, let's start with a question. Why do you think so many people never reach their full potential?
Ooh, that's a big question, Emma. I think one of the biggest reasons is fear. Not a lack of talent, not a lack of intelligence, but fear.
Fear of what exactly?
Fear of failing, fear of making mistakes, fear of being judged by other people. Those fears stop many people before they even begin.
That's so true. Sometimes people have amazing ideas or incredible dreams, but they never take the first step because they're afraid of what might happen.
Exactly. They spend more time imagining failure than imagining success.
Have you ever noticed how children learn new things?
Yes, children aren't afraid to fall, make mistakes, or ask questions. They simply keep trying until they succeed.
But as adults, many of us become afraid of looking imperfect.
That's right. We start thinking things like, what if I fail? Or what if people laugh at me? Those thoughts become invisible barriers that stop us from growing.
It's interesting because failure is something everyone experiences. Every successful person has failed many times.
Absolutely. The difference is that successful people don't see failure as the end. They see it as part of the journey.
Can you think of an example?
Imagine someone who wants to learn English. They might be afraid to speak because they don't want to make grammar mistakes.
So instead of practicing, they stay silent.
Exactly. But every day they stay silent is another day they miss the chance to improve.
That's a powerful lesson. Progress only happens when we're willing to be beginners.
And that's true for almost everything in life, not just learning English.
Besides fear, what else keeps people from reaching their potential?
Comfort. Our brains naturally prefer what's familiar. Even if we're unhappy, staying comfortable often feels easier than making a change.
So people choose what's comfortable instead of what's better?
Exactly. Imagine someone who dreams of starting a business, learning a new skill, or getting healthier. Every day, they say, I'll start tomorrow.
But tomorrow becomes next week.
Then next month.
And before they know it, years have passed.
That's why waiting for the perfect moment is so dangerous. The perfect moment rarely comes.
Sometimes the best time to start is simply today.
Even if you're not completely ready.
I think another problem is comparing ourselves to other people. What do you think?
I completely agree. Today, it's easier than ever to compare ourselves because of social media.
We often see someone else's success, but not the years of hard work behind it.
Exactly. We compare our first chapter to someone else's chapter 20, and that's never fair.
Instead of comparing ourselves to others, maybe we should compare ourselves to the person we were yesterday.
I love that idea. If you're a little kinder, a little stronger, or a little more knowledgeable than yesterday, you're moving in the right direction.
So, reaching our potential isn't about becoming perfect?
Not at all. It's about becoming a little better every day.
That's actually very motivating because it makes success feel possible for everyone.
Exactly. You don't need to change your entire life today. You only need to take one small step.
That step could be reading 10 pages of a book, exercising for 20 minutes, practicing English for 15 minutes, or learning one new word.
Small actions may not seem important at first, but when you repeat them every day, they create extraordinary results.
I think many people underestimate the power of consistency.
They do. People often want quick success, but lasting success usually comes from small habits repeated over a long period of time.
So, if you're listening today and you feel like you're not reaching your potential, remember this. You don't have to be perfect.
You just have to begin. One decision, one habit, one step at a time. Those small choices can completely change your future.
Now that we've talked about what holds people back, let's explore something even more powerful.
How can small daily habits transform your life and help you become the best version of yourself?
We just talked about the fears and obstacles that stop people from reaching their full potential. But here's the good news. Success isn't built in one day. It's built through small daily habits.
I completely agree. When people think about changing their lives, they often imagine making one huge decision. But in reality, most successful people improve little by little, every single day.
That's interesting because social media often shows us the final result, not the journey.
Exactly. We see the successful entrepreneur, the athlete, the musician, or the person who speaks English fluently. But we don't see the hundreds of ordinary days they spent practicing, learning, and improving.
It's easy to think they became successful overnight.
But almost nobody succeeds overnight. Behind every big achievement are hundreds or even thousands of small actions repeated consistently.
So, would you say that our habits are more important than our goals?
That's a great question. Goals are important because they give us direction, but habits are what actually get us there.
It's like planning a road trip. The destination is your goal, but driving a little farther every day is what eventually gets you there.
Exactly. A goal tells you where to go. Your daily habits determine whether you'll actually arrive.
Can you give us an example?
Of course. Imagine two people who both want to improve their English.
Okay.
The first person studies for 6 hours on one Saturday, then doesn't practice again for 2 weeks.
That sounds familiar.
The second person studies for just 20 minutes every single day.
So, who improves faster?
Almost always the second person. Why? Because consistency is more powerful than intensity.
I really like that.
Let me say it again because it's important. Consistency is more powerful than intensity.
That doesn't just apply to learning English, does it?
Not at all. Think about exercising, reading, learning a musical instrument, saving money, building a business. Small daily improvements always beat occasional big efforts.
Sometimes people don't start because they think they need an hour or two every day.
That's another common mistake. You don't always need more time. Sometimes you simply need to use the time you already have.
For example, listening to an English podcast while walking,
Reading 10 pages of a book before going to bed,
learning 5 new English words each day.
or spending just 15 minutes practicing your speaking.
None of those habits seem difficult.
Exactly. And that's the secret.
The best habits are usually simple enough that you can repeat them every day
Why do people often give up after only a few days?
because they expect immediate results. We live in a world where we want everything quickly.
We want to see progress right away.
But real growth doesn't work like that. Imagine planting a tree. You don't wake up the next morning expecting it to be 10 feet tall.
Of course not.
First, the roots grow underground, where you can't even see them. Then, little by little, the tree begins to grow above the surface.
That's a beautiful example.
Personal growth works the same way. Sometimes you're improving even when you can't see the results yet.
So, if someone feels like they're making no progress,
They shouldn't quit. They should keep showing up every day.
because one day they'll look back and realize how far they've come.
Exactly. Progress is often invisible until enough time has passed.
What's one habit you think could change someone's life?
I'd say becoming a lifelong learner. Read books, listen to podcasts, learn new skills, stay curious. The moment you stop learning is the moment you stop growing.
I love that. Every new piece of knowledge gives you a new way of seeing the world.
And remember, learning isn't a race. You don't need to know everything today. Just learn something today.
So, if our listeners only remember one thing from this part of today's conversation, what should it be?
Never underestimate small daily habits. They may seem insignificant today, but they have the power to completely transform your future.
Every page you read,
Every workout you complete,
every English podcast you listen to,
every positive decision you make.
they're all investments in the person you're becoming.
Success isn't about doing something amazing once. It's about doing the right things consistently, even when nobody is watching.
Now, we've seen how powerful small daily habits can be, but there's another obstacle that prevents many people from growing. Let's talk about something that affects almost everyone at some point: comparing ourselves to other people.
We've talked about fear and the power of small daily habits, but there's another obstacle that quietly holds millions of people back.
Comparing ourselves to other people.
I think almost everyone has done that at some point.
Absolutely. It's something we all experience. Whether it's at school, at work, or especially on social media, it's very easy to look at someone else's life and think, why am I not there yet?
And the problem is, we usually compare our everyday life to someone else's highlight reel.
Exactly. On social media, people usually share their best moments. They post their achievements, vacations, promotions, or successes, but they rarely share the difficult days, the failures, or the years of hard work behind those achievements.
So we're only seeing one small part of their story.
That's right. Imagine watching only the last 5 minutes of a movie and assuming you know the whole story. It doesn't work like that.
Why do you think comparison affects us so much?
Because it's part of human nature. We naturally look around to see how we're doing compared to others. The problem begins when comparison makes us feel like we're not good enough.
Instead of motivating us, it starts making us feel discouraged.
Exactly. We begin thinking things like, she's more successful than me, or he speaks English better than I do, or I'll never be as good as them.
But those thoughts aren't always true.
Not at all. Everyone has a different starting point. Everyone has different opportunities, different experiences, and different challenges.
Imagine two people learning English.
One person has been studying for 6 months.
The other has been studying for 5 years.
Does it make sense to compare them?
Of course not.
Exactly. They're on completely different parts of the journey.
I think many people forget that success takes time.
They do. They see someone's results, but they don't see the thousands of hours that came before them.
So who should we compare ourselves to?
The person you were yesterday.
I love that answer.
Ask yourself simple questions. Am I learning something new? Am I becoming more confident? Am I making better decisions than I did a few months ago?
Those are the comparisons that really matter.
Exactly. Personal growth isn't about beating someone else. It's about becoming a better version of yourself.
Sometimes people also compare themselves because they feel like they're too late.
That's another very common belief.
What would you say to someone who thinks it's too late to change?
I'd tell them this. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today.
That's one of my favorite quotes.
It reminds us that we can't change the past. We can't go back and start earlier, but we can choose what we do today. Every successful person started with day one.
Exactly. Nobody starts as an expert. Every athlete was once a beginner. Every successful entrepreneur had their first customer. Every fluent English speaker once struggled to understand simple conversations.
That's something our listeners should always remember.
Never compare your beginning to someone else's middle or end.
What can people do if they notice they're constantly comparing themselves online?
First, become aware of it. Sometimes we compare ourselves without even realizing it.
Awareness is always the first step.
Second, spend less time looking at other people's lives and more time building your own.
That's such a simple idea, but it's incredibly powerful.
Imagine if you spent the same amount of time learning a new skill that you spend scrolling through social media every day.
After 1 year, your life could look completely different.
Absolutely. Your attention is one of your most valuable resources. Invest it wisely.
So instead of asking, why is that person more successful than me? Maybe we should ask,
What small step can I take today to improve my own life?
I like that question much better.
Because it's a question you can actually do something about.
Remember, someone else's success doesn't reduce your chances of succeeding. There is room for everyone to grow.
Celebrate other people's achievements, learn from them, and then focus on your own journey.
Life isn't a competition. It's a journey of continuous learning and self-improvement.
And every single day gives you another opportunity to become a little stronger, a little wiser, and a little closer to the person you want to be.
We've talked about overcoming fear, building powerful habits, and focusing on our own journey instead of comparing ourselves to others.
Now let's bring everything together and discover how you can truly unlock your full potential and become the best version of yourself.
We've talked about fear, the power of small daily habits, and why comparing yourself to others can hold you back. Now let's bring everything together. How can someone truly unlock their full potential?
I think it starts with one simple decision. The decision to believe that you're capable of becoming more than you are today.
That sounds simple, but I think it's something many people struggle with.
You're right. So many people underestimate themselves. They believe they're not smart enough, talented enough, or lucky enough to achieve their dreams.
Sometimes the biggest obstacle isn't the world around us. It's the story we keep telling ourselves.
Exactly. If you wake up every morning telling yourself, I can't do this, eventually you'll start believing it. But if you tell yourself, I'm learning, I'm improving, I'm getting better every day, your mindset begins to change.
So our thoughts influence our actions?
Absolutely. Every action begins with a thought. If you believe success is impossible, you'll probably stop trying. But if you believe improvement is possible, you'll keep moving forward, even when things become difficult.
I really like the word improvement. It feels more realistic than expecting perfection.
Exactly. Perfection isn't the goal. Growth is.
What do you think is the next step after changing your mindset?
Set clear goals. If you don't know where you're going, it's difficult to know what you should do today.
But some people feel overwhelmed by big goals.
That's completely normal. Here's a simple trick. Don't focus only on the final destination. Focus on the next step.
So instead of saying, I want to become fluent in English, I could say, today I'm going to listen to one English podcast.
Exactly. Or instead of saying, I want to get healthier, start with, today I'll go for a 20-minute walk.
Big dreams become much less intimidating when we break them into small actions.
That's one of the most powerful habits successful people have. They don't just dream. They create a plan and take action.
Why is taking action so important?
Because knowledge without action changes nothing. You can read hundreds of books, watch thousands of videos, or listen to dozens of podcasts. But if you never apply what you learn, your life stays the same.
That's true. Learning is important, but action is what creates results.
Exactly. Even one small action today is more valuable than waiting for the perfect moment.
I think another important quality is discipline. What do you think?
I completely agree. Motivation is wonderful, but motivation comes and goes. Some days you'll feel inspired, other days you won't.
So, what keeps people going when motivation disappears?
Discipline.
How would you explain the difference?
Motivation says, I feel like doing it today. Discipline says, I'm going to do it even if I don't feel like it.
That's a powerful difference.
The people who achieve great things aren't motivated every single day. They simply keep showing up.
Just like someone learning English.
Exactly. Some days you'll be excited to study. Other days you'll be tired. But if you continue practicing, even for 15 or 20 minutes, you'll continue improving.
Small efforts really do add up over time.
They do. Think about where you could be 1 year from now if you improved just a little every day.
That's an exciting thought.
1 year from now, you could speak English more confidently. You could be healthier. You could have learned new skills. You could have started your own business. You could be living a completely different life.
All because you decided to begin today instead of waiting.
Exactly. The future isn't created in one big moment. It's created by the choices we make every single day.
If our listeners remember only one message from today's episode, what would you want it to be?
I'd tell them this. Never underestimate yourself. You're capable of learning more, growing more, becoming more. The only person who can truly limit your potential is you.
That's such an important message.
Stop waiting for confidence before taking action. Confidence comes after you begin, not before.
Every expert was once a beginner. Every successful person once had doubts. Every great journey started with one small step.
So don't wait for Monday. Don't wait for next month. Don't wait for next year. Start today.
Read one chapter. Exercise for 20 minutes. Practice your English. Call someone you've been meaning to talk to. Take one small action that moves you closer to your dreams.
Your future self will thank you for the decision you make today.
Remember, you don't have to change your entire life overnight.
You only have to become 1% better than yesterday.
And with that, it's time for one final message before we say goodbye.
Let's end today's conversation with a challenge that could be the beginning of a brand new chapter in your life.
As we come to the end of today's conversation, we'd like to leave you with one final thought.
Your life doesn't change because of one lucky moment. It changes because of the small choices you make every single day.
You don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You don't need to have perfect conditions. You don't need to know exactly how everything will work out.
You simply need the courage to take the first step.
Remember, every successful person you admire was once a beginner. They had doubts, they made mistakes, they faced challenges, but they kept moving forward.
And so can you.
Before you leave, we'd like to give you a small challenge.
Take a piece of paper or open the Notes app on your phone and write down one goal that you truly want to achieve.
Then ask yourself one simple question. What's one small action I can take today to get closer to this goal?
It doesn't have to be a big action. It could be reading one page of a book, practicing English for 15 minutes, going for a short walk, or learning one new skill.
Don't wait until tomorrow. Start today. Small actions repeated every day can completely change your future.
We'd love to hear from you.
Leave a comment below and tell us one goal you're working toward this year. We'd love to read your answers, and you might even inspire someone else in our community.
And if today's conversation inspired you or helped you improve your English, please support the channel.
Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to All About English, and share this podcast with someone who could use a little motivation today.
Every like, every comment, and every subscription helps us continue creating free English podcasts and meaningful conversations for learners around the world.
Never stop learning.
Never stop growing.
Never stop believing in yourself, because your potential is far greater than you think. Thank you so much for spending this time with us today.
We hope to see you again in our next episode, where you'll continue improving your English while learning ideas that can help you build a better life.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep becoming the best version of yourself. Goodbye, everyone.